कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैके अमृतत्वमानशुः परेण नाकं निहितं गुहायां विभ्राजते तद्यतयो विशन्ति वेदान्त विज्ञान सुनिश्चितार्था संन्यासयोगाद्यतयः शुद्धसत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोके तु परान्तकाले परामृतात् परिमुच्यन्ते सर्वे प्रहरं विपापं परमेष्मभूतं यत्पुण्डरीकं पुरमद्य सत्कृस्तम् तत्रापि दहरं गगनं विशोकस्तस्मिन् यदन्तस्तदुपासितव्यम् यो वेदादौ स्वरः प्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीलस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Namaha. I am Seema Nayak, the MC for today's event. Before we start the program, we would like to remind everyone to mute their phones and request people with young children to supervise them during the event. Welcome to America PRAYS Bridging Traditions. Today is a historic occasion as we gather here at the Sankara Advaithashramam for Global Enlightenment, or SAGE, to honor the upcoming 250th anniversary of American independence. This evening is more than just a milestone. It's a moment for us to come together in unity, gratitude, and reflection, expressing our collective thanks for the freedoms and opportunities this great nation provides. This is a historic moment as 15 Hindu organizations in the US come together to celebrate this occasion. We are incredibly blessed to have with us two visionary spiritual leaders who will guide our reflections. It is a great honor and privilege for me to welcome Pujya Swamiji Tattwamayananda, Minister-in-Chief of the Vedanta Society of San Francisco, who will be speaking on the Vedantic vision of harmony. Pujya Swamiji Chidananda Puri, the founder of Advaithashramam, will share a Dharmic message for the present-day world. In partnership with the Hindu American Foundation and our many supporting community organizations, we invite you to participate in this evening's program with joy and reverence. Let us begin this journey of prayer and national reflection. Before we start the program, I'd like to go over the agenda for today. We start with the national anthem, followed by the prayer. This will be followed by a welcome speech, followed by the lamp lighting ceremony. This will be followed by the talks or by our gurus and the representatives of the organizations. Then we have the unity lamp lighting. Finally, we have chanting by Rutvich, and we end with a vote of thanks and closing prayers.
कवित्वजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम् गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदेवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुरवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्यकलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसधाराध्याय गुरुपुत्र परित्रात्रे गुरुमाकण्डकण्डकाय गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्राय धीमहि गूढगुल्पाय गण्डमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि गुणाधीराय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
We are quite blessed today to be in the company of two philosophers, and for now I'll just call them philosophers. Over the next few minutes we'll find that they are more than philosophers, and I'll let someone else do justice to that. But my job today is to set the context of, oh, thank you. Can you hear me? No? Okay. Sorry about that. I thought I could hear myself. So my job is to set context for the evening, and especially the context of America prays at 2:50. What does that mean? What does that mean specifically in context of us as Hindu Americans? This year is remarkable. It's the 250th year of America's independence. But at the same time, let's not lose sight of the fact that this is also the 250th year of America's experiment. Times are such that we all know why this is and continues to be a vibrant experiment. We see that in the news cycles every day. We also happen to be living in an age where there's two words, and I won't name them, but they start with letters A and I, that are kind of ruling the airwaves right now. And not just that, more than that, they're ruling our minds at the moment. We are, for those who talk about it often, past this age of concern of social media. We are now in an age of machines and age of algorithms. So a lot is happening around us. We are swimming in an ocean of uncertainty. Back to America at 250. So yes, it is true that we as a country were born out of rebellion. But it is equally true that we were born out of a lot of deep thinking about our identity and about who a human being is and what his or her destiny is. So when George Washington eventually took oath of the office as the first president after independence, it was actually the first peaceful transfer of executive power, but under a written constitution in the modern republic history or republican history of the world. That had never happened anywhere else in the world prior to that. But it is interesting to note that the very first ceremony that was held was also shaped by faith. Let me give you some idea how deeply faith-oriented it was. The ceremony was guided by clergy. We see that happening today as well. It was rooted in prayer. We see that today as well. But it was infused with a sense of divine providence. And we see that as well today. And then, in his inaugural address, Washington devoted a significant attention to the role of higher power in the destiny of this nation. Now, from the earliest days, yes, we are a country of faith, but it is true, and all of us can be forgiven to sense that the faith we are talking about is Abrahamic in nature. So, what does that mean for us Americans, the Dharmic folks? You see, we are trained to look beneath the surface. That's just our tradition. We are trained to not look at the form, but to look at the essence. So let's look at the essence, which I never thought to look at until 2021. It just so happened that one day I was reading what I get every quarter at my home in my postbox, a magazine called Hinduism Today. And in that magazine, there was an article by this young author who was probably 16 at the time, whose name is Rutvij Hole, and he's right here with us today. But what came out of that article back in 2018 or 2016, I believe, I forget, 2018? 2018 is the genesis of today's program. And it is a brainchild of Rutvij Hole, who was a high schooler back then, now a Stanford student, and Isan Katir, who is at the Hindu-American Foundation, who unfortunately got pulled into jury duty today and couldn't make it. But back to the Hinduism Today article, here's what I learned, and I'll have to read this. From Rutvij's article, I read that there is a deeper current of spiritual history in the United States. John Adams, who, for those of us who don't keep tabs, was the second president of the United States, wrote a letter. He used to write letters. I think everyone used to write letters back then. So he wrote a letter to Thomas Jefferson, who would become the third president a few years later. And in that correspondence with Thomas Jefferson, Adams talks about striking admiration for the philosophical depth of Hindu thought. He rejected the narrow and selective critiques of Hinduism and instead recognized in it a profound metaphysics. Particularly the idea of an all-pervading Brahman. This is the second president of the United States writing to the future third president of the United States talking about the idea of Brahman. And he talked about our Shastras and compared them to classical Greek thought and their elegance to that of Plato. He went as far as even suggesting that the key ideas of Greek philosophy, especially reincarnation, and even the Christian concepts like the Trinity, may have roots in Indian tradition. So generations later, that same current would flow quietly but powerfully into the moral framework of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., 200 years later. And during his time, he, through the life and works of Mahatma Gandhi, so not quite directly but indirectly, through the works of Mahatma Gandhi, adopted the principles and ideology of ahimsa. So if you notice that for us, this idea that we are outsiders may not be actually entirely 100% true. We have more deeper roots and history in this country than what either we have been led to believe or we might imagine ourselves. We are not merely visitors here, as most of us often fall into the trap of seeing ourselves. We are equal participants. We've equally shaped this country, just so you know. If not, then our ancestors, our shastras, our ideology. So I share this not as history, but as context for all of us. It is to remind us that the presence and essence of Dharma in this country is not new. So as we come together to pray for America at this milestone anniversary, we do so not as outsiders looking in, but as participants of this unfolding story of America. Our contributions, especially for those of us here in Bay Area, we have to remind ourselves that our contributions are beyond economic. Our contributions are civilizational. Our contributions to America are spiritual. So that is the spirit with which we are here today, and blessed by the presence of two masters, if I may call them, who have their ideas to share. Before I hand over the mic, just wanted to quickly point out and thank Swamiji from SAGE. SAGE is this organization right here for setting up this event. Isan Katir from the Hindu American Foundation, Rutvij Hole. We talked about that. In alphabetical order, there are many organizations that have made this possible. AIMS for Seva, Chinmaya Mission, CoHNA, FOG, Americans for Hindus, Hindu American Foundation, HinduPACT, Hindu Swayamsevak Sangh, Hindu University of America, One World, One Family, OWOF, Sambodh Bay Area, Vedanta Society of San Francisco, VHPA, and Yoga Bharati. So with that, I would like to welcome you all, welcome the Swamijis, and hand it over back to you.
Thank you. Move on to the lamp lighting. May I request Pujya Swamiji Tattwamayananda and Pujya Swamiji Chidananda Puri to light the lamp. Moving to the next item, we have the keynote talk by Dr. Tattwamayananda Swamiji. Now we are deeply honored to welcome Pujya Swami Tattwamayananda, the Minister-in-Chief of the Vedanta Society of Northern California in San Francisco, an institution originally founded by none other than Swami Vivekananda in 1900. Today, the Society's headquarters is located at the new temple in San Francisco, situated at the corner of Vallejo and Fillmore Streets. The new temple serves as a spiritual hub where a variety of services are offered and is open daily to all for meditation. In addition to its city locations, the Society maintains the Vedanta Retreat in Pulema, California, which provides space for day visits and overnight stays. The Society continues to serve as a significant spiritual force dedicated to preserving and sharing the message of Vedanta. Before coming to the US, Swamiji was a faculty member at the training center in Belur Mutt, the headquarters of the Ramakrishna Mission. He is a well-known speaker on yoga, Vedanta, and traditional Hindu scriptures. Now, I would like to humbly request Pujya Swami Tattwamayananda to give a talk on this occasion. And the topic is Vedantic Vision of Harmony.
Yonda pravishya mama vachimimam prasuttam sanjeevayati akhila shakti dharaswadhamna anyamscha hasta charana sravanatvagadin Pranam Namo Bhagavate Purushaya. It's a rare honor, a privilege, and a blessing to be part of this event. And I'm particularly happy to see Swami Chidananda Puri after one long year. Frequently we used to meet. I used to be invited to his ashram during the early years of its activities, and I'm very happy to see him again after 1 year. So the subject, as far as I remember, has something to do with Swami Vivekananda and his universal vision of harmony and unity. So I was particularly impressed by the scholar who introduced, or both of us, who just gave the earlier remarks, brilliant remarks about the connection between some of the great names of America's early days with Hinduism, Hindu tradition. 1776 to 2026, 250 years. Now, for a country like India, which almost 8,000 years of unbroken history of succession and continuity of a spiritual heritage, it is a very, very short period. But when we look at the history and evolution of this country, and its connection with Vedanta, Hinduism, which was referred to earlier, it is something very fascinating. I will particularly begin by referring to Vivekananda's first address in Chicago. In 1893, Swamiji came to Chicago, gave his well-known address, called famous as Chicago Address, September 11, 1893. Dr. Reverend Barrows, Henry Barrows, had brought out 2 volumes, the Proceedings of the First Parliament of Religions, 1893, which, by the way, was presented, this volume was presented to India's Prime Minister during his visit to America by the then President of the United States. A very rare gift. Winsor is a great admirer of Vivekananda. Now, this Henry Barrows has written these 2 volumes, one huge volumes, the Proceedings of the First Parliament of Religion. There you can see a recording of the 2 lectures of Vivekananda and also P.C. Majumdar, another Indian, by the way. He was a Brahma Samaj leader who had met Vivekananda when he was still youngster studying Scottish College. And he was also a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda's guru. Swami Vivekananda in his talk talked about, not about his religion, but about the religion of humanity, the spiritual aspirations of humanity, which is actually the essence of our Hindu tradition, the Upanishads. That's why Schopenhauer, when he first happened to read a very inaccurate translation of the Upanishads, he felt, well, it's my own story, the story of my own spiritual life. So, when Vivekananda addressed the audience, he talked about our regard and respect for Jesus Christ, the most important spiritual figure for America's religious legacy, spiritual legacy. And then he criticized the questionable methods of trying to convert Indians into Christianity, which was going on in the later half of 19th century, after the Sipahi Mutiny, especially 1757. Americans appreciated that, remember. Swamiji expressed his admiration for Christ, but no admiration for the questionable means of bringing Indians into Christianity. Swamiji didn't like it. Americans appreciated that. P.C. Majumdar was a Hindu by birth, was a Brahma Samaj leader. He concludes his most important address by inviting missionaries to come to India and convert Indians and Hindus into Christianity. Americans did not like it. So look at the 2 approaches. Vivekananda expressing admiration for Christ, but no admiration for the very, very unpleasant, I would say, using very mild language, very unpleasant ways of converting Indians into Christianity. Swamiji criticized it. Americans liked because he criticized it. P.C. Majumdar, he was inviting American missionaries to come to India and convert Indians. Americans did not like it. He did not get many more requests for or invitations for giving lectures in this country. That's the greatness of this nation. So that's the story. Now, why was Vivekananda accepted, appreciated, and eventually became an overnight celebrity when he came to this country? Vivekananda also visited England, and after one of his lectures on Jnana Yoga, which Sister Nivedita happened to attend. At that time, she was an Irish revolutionary, Miss Margaret Noble, a great educational reformer who was a follower of Pestalozzi and Froebel, the two great Swedish educational reformers, German, Swedish. She was a revolutionary. She was the one who later followed Vivekananda, became Nivedita, means the dedicated one, dedicated to Hindu religion, Hindu spiritual heritage. It's actually world spiritual heritage. And went to India, stayed there, served India, served Hinduism, and passed away as Nivedita, the dedicated one. But when you read the proceedings, Vivekananda was leaving the hall after his lecture in London. One of the members was a member of the House of Lords. He remarked, "Oh, there is nothing particularly interesting in this." But Americans, on the other hand, when they listened to this 6.5 minutes talk, Chicago address, he became a celebrity. That's because even in the early days of 1830s, Emerson had already started reading Bhagavad Gita. That is America's historical connection, on a scriptural connection, so to speak, began with Emerson. An English clerk who was working in East India Company's registered office in Calcutta, when Lord Warren Hastings was the first Governor General of Calcutta after Battle of Plassey. He became the Viceroy. Robert Clive went back to in London, and Warren Hastings became the Governor General. There is a very, very ordinary clerk, Charles Wilkins. His knowledge of Sanskrit was zero. He translated, and it's a very inaccurate translation, Bhagavad Gita into English with the help of some Indian Pandits. And Emerson gave a new interpretation to this Gita, the message of Gita, and eventually that influenced Henry Thoreau. So if you read Thoreau's Walden, you find references to Karma Yoga, references to working without a selfish motive. The word civil disobedience later became well known during Mahatma Gandhi's times. So you can see the influence of India's cultural heritage. Right through from 1830s up to maybe 1892, that was the time when Thoreau and Emerson and Whitman all passed away by then, before Vivekananda gave this address. So Emerson, when he got a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, a very inaccurate translation of the Gita, by Charles Wilkins, who was not a Sanskrit scholar, again which he got that gift from Thomas Carlyle. He was a British social critic. He had written a well-known book on French Revolution. So this Emerson, Thoreau and Whitman prepared a landscape of America's culture and tradition so that America could understand, appreciate Vivekananda when he talked about Vedanta and Hinduism in 1893. This is the story of America's mysterious connection with Hinduism. Now, about transcendentalism, I will tell you something very interesting. You know, when we think about America's mysterious connection with Hinduism, many historians will tell you that there was no First World War, America's connection to Hinduism getting much more profound. Because I happened to come from the old temple. The temple was built by Swami Tirunadidananda, who came to this country at the request of Vivekananda. He landed here in 1903 January, he landed here. The first Hindu shrine in Western world, outside Asia, was built in Shanti Ashrama. We had a one full day retreat on 25th of April, the last Saturday of April every year. We have a Shanti Ashrama retreat, a shrine that remains there. When Turiyananda came to this country, there was no temple here. Indian diaspora, no. And then he took a group of Americans, went to Shanti Ashrama, which is about 3,000 feet above sea level. And there they built cabins, temples, and shrine. And that shrine alone remains intact today. It survived no less than 2 California fires in 1952 and also the big fire that happened about 6 years ago. That small shrine remains intact. Then came Swami Tirunadidananda. When Swami Tirunadidananda came here in 1903 January, what he found was people were inquiring about Hinduism. There were still people who had learned, who had listened to Vivekananda's address in Chicago. They wanted to know more about Hinduism. What is so magic about Hinduism? Well, I'll tell you one small story. We get requests from many schools, students from California. They have world religion on the topic to study in their schools, and they frequently request for school visits, and we talk to them about Hinduism. Today, if you go to America or Europe, anywhere, if you're addressing a cultured, educated audience, and if you tell them, my religion is the only religion, your religion is wrong, educated, cultured Americans will laugh at you. You know why? Because of Vivekananda. In his lecture, when he said, he literally translated the Gita verse, Ye yathamam prapadyante tam sadhaiva bhajameha mama varma anuvartanti manushyaha partha sarvasya. Whatever may be the path you are following, whatever may be the style of your worship, your prayer, meditation, whatever book you are reading, your heart is pure, they all follow mama varma anuvartanti. They mama varma anuvartanti. They are following my path. This proclamation was received by America by more than by any other nation outside Asia, so to speak. This is the greatness of this country. So, the landscape that was prepared by the three transcendentalists, which again was structured by Vivekananda, and again enriched by great swamis, great monks, not only monks, also by great academics like Dr. Advaithashramam. And also, right from the early 60s onwards, Hare Krishna movement, Swami Chinmaya, Divine Society, Paramahamsa Yogananda, much earlier, it came to New York and other places. So all these great men and also great women also came, many of them. They could come to this country and talk about this great religious tradition because one man declared in 1893 and a unique message of Hinduism which they never heard earlier. When Vivekananda came to this country, look at the cultural, the theological landscape of this country. Marx had already published his Das Kapital and also Communist Manifesto, Marx and Engels together. Darwin's Origin of Species had already become popular. So the foundations of established religion, so to speak, which believed that they are the only true religion, every other religion was wrong, that idea was only being questioned by thinking people, especially in the East Coast of America. It was happening much more profoundly, with far greater impact in the East Coast than in Europe. Though Europe had a much longer tradition history of theological research, religious studies. The the University of Sorbonne, the University of Oxford, University of course, Rome, the Vatican, the capital of Christian learning. They produced many theologians. They produced Aquinas, Augustine, Meister Eckhart, Saint Dominic, Saint Francis, and so on. But Europe could not understand or appreciate the message of Vivekananda. Only America could understand the message of Vivekananda. That's America's true exceptionalism. If America can claim any exceptionalism, it is this open-mindedness, this keeping all the windows open. Anu bhajya gratavo yendu vishwadaka. There's a Rigveda mantra is there. Let noble thoughts come from everywhere. Let noble ideas come from everywhere. This is the true nature of America's unique exceptionalism. And Indian diaspora has played a very, very important role by enriching, spiritually and culturally enriching this country, this society, this nation. So I'm not going to give a very long talk because I have to go back a little earlier, but I want to mention a few more things about this. About the role of Indian diaspora. It's a very prominent, very relevant subject. Swami Vivekananda had a very forceful statement. What we need today is a harmonious blending of the best of the Occidental and the best of the Oriental. Occidental, Oriental, these terms are no more very much fashionable in our times. I mean, what the best of the traditional Indian, spiritual, cultural, family values and so on, and the best of the Occidental. What's the best of the Occidental? To find out, you have to follow the footsteps of Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda returned to India in 1897. After preaching in the United States for years. Then he started a campaign of lectures and programs addressing people all the way from Floral Hall in Colombo in today's Sri Lanka, Ceylon at that time, British Empire, no? Up to Colombo, Almora. So from extreme south to extreme north. If you follow his footsteps, what was he talking about? When he came to South India, he was talking about the tyranny of orthodoxy, casteism, and all the problems of orthodoxy. If I quote Vivekananda's language, when Karl Marx will be ashamed. The language is this: every orthodoxy has a sacred duty to perform, namely to dig its own grave. The earlier it does it, the better for it. The longer it delays it, the worse that it will die. Vivekananda, not a revolutionary, but a spiritual revolutionary, not a political revolutionary. So in South India, he was talking about the tyranny of orthodoxy, casteism, all the social problems of Hinduism. When he came to some other provinces, he was talking about effeminacy, weakness, cowardice, all these things. The typical Hindu tendency, which at that time, unfortunately, had kept into. That's not the true nature of Hindu society, but unfortunately it happened in the 19th century. Swamiji was saying, poverty is not spirituality, inaction is not spirituality. You know, rather dynamism, energy, protect the country. All these are important values of every Grihastha. So Vivekananda actually gives an English translation, a very famous statement from Manusmriti. Yasmat prayopyasramino jnanena annena chajnakam grihasthenaiva dharinde tasmat jeshthasami grihi. I'm coming to America again. Vivekananda one day encountered a villager who had many children, no money to feed them, no food to give them. So, and he was saying that the problems of materialism, the glory of simple living, Vivekananda came with a hammer on him. So he said, anyone who neglects the responsibility to produce wealth, power for the protection of society, family, and nation is an adharmi. Then he quoted Bhutena Pramadidavyam, Kusilana Pramadidavyam. This is Taittiriya. In the Taittiriya Mantra Shankara Bhashyakara says, Atmasamrakshanartha na pramaditavya. Karmanaha na pramaditavya. So one should never neglect activities, responsibilities for self-preservation. Then Vivekananda started preaching something very interesting. Material prosperity, scientific technological advancement, social unity, action, vigor, efficiency. Efficiency is a very interesting word. Vivekananda, you can imagine, if you read Colombo Dalmora lectures, he talks about the inefficiency, the superstition, all these problems that somehow crept into society. He says, what we need today is the best of the Occidental. The efficiency, dynamism, fortunately, is happening right in front of our eyes today in India, fortunately. So Vivekananda's arrow has hit the target. Today, India is emerging. So what he said was, we need a new paradigm, a spiritual paradigm, which combines efficiency, strength, social unity, dynamism. In modern language, you can say innovation, which he doesn't use that word, of course, innovation. At the same time, keeping intact our own cultural values. So, if you can combine, if you can blend together, you can attain a friction-free harmonization, blending of the best of the material, the secular, the scientific, the technological, and also the best of our traditional spiritual values. We combine together, that should be the ideal paradigm for a successful nation, for a successful society. One strong warning that came from again from Vivekananda was this: your culture may be very great. Egyptian culture disappeared from you. Your spirituality may be very great. You don't find many of the ancient traditions flourishing today. But India's spiritual tradition continues today with all vigor. In the first lecture in Colombo Dalmora lectures, in floral hall in Colombo, he says, if Manu returned to India today, he won't find himself in a strange land. But he says, Manu was an ancient lawgiver. Vedic times. So if he came to India today in 1897 at that time, you find his own ancient Vedic culture existing, surviving. This does not happen in the history of Egypt, Babylon, Greece, even Rome, the Incas, the Mayans. It never happened. India alone can, without being boastful, without being too much fanatical, with all justification, we can say India continues its spiritual journey and cultural journey. But remember, that is possible only when you put old wine in a new bottle. What's a new bottle? Science, technology, innovation, the best of the modern, technological, scientific, and also the best of our traditional spiritual values. Then only there will be a strong society. But at the same time, harmony could be achieved only by spreading this spiritual oneness. That is why, in our old temple in San Francisco, Swami Tirunadidananda selected one verse from Rigveda Samhita. First mandala, 164th Sukta. It is Indram Mitram Varunam Agnirahu Adho Divyasa Suparno Garutman Ekam Satipra Bhagudha Vadanti Aktim Yama Matarishwanamahu. Of course, the inscription is only Ekam Sat Vipraha Bhagudha Vadanti. Truth is one. That truth can be called, defined, and described in so many different languages, so many different vocabularies. So, Indian tradition, Hindu tradition, India's spiritual heritage emphasized again and again that the ideal of unity and oneness of existence. Vasudha eva kutumba. That's an old Mahabharata statement, Agam nija paro vedi ganana leguchedasam udayara jagdanam tu vasudha eva kutumbakam. The idea that the whole world is one family. And if you go to some commentaries in the Mimamsa tradition, you find the Vasudha Eva Kudumba, that idea extends beyond human beings. So the certain pre-Shankarite commentators of Purvasmi Mimamsa, For example, Shabara, they quote this verse, Om Shanti, Agni Shanti, Osale Shanti, Vanaspade Shanti, etc. Let there be peace and happiness, harmony and tranquility in the oceans, mountains, valleys, rivers, trees, and so on, it says. So let the entire creation be in a state of perpetual, natural tranquility and peace. This is a prayer of Hindu tradition. Vivekananda, he proclaimed this unique message of spiritual unity and spiritual oneness of existence, not only of human beings, but whole existence. I can finish this by quoting one statement from Shankaracharya's Bhashya. In the Gaudabada Karika, there is a well-known Karika, very much verse, a commentary on Upanishads, that is 215 Karikas, mythical verses. Swasiddhanta vyavasthasu dvaitino nischida dridam parasparam viruddhyante taihi ayam na viruddhyate. Those who believe they are the only right person, everyone is wrong, they fight among themselves. Then the point is, Asmadhyaya Vaidhigo Dharma na viruddhyate, Atma ananyatvad. Hindu tradition, Vedanta tradition has no quarrel with anyone, because there is no otherness here. And then Yatha Suhasta Padadibhi means you don't fight with your own hand, you don't hit your own head with your right hand. You are going to feel the pain. We cannot hurt anyone in this world without eventually hurting ourselves. We cannot do harm to anyone without actually doing harm to ourselves. The creation is one, existence is one, humanity is one spiritual family. This is the message of Vivekananda. Not Vivekananda, remember, long before Vivekananda, Shankaracharya had already written Bhashyas. Actually, there's a little subject which I mentioned and conclude. The Vivekananda would not have got to Vedanta without Shankaracharya building this philosophical structure in 8th century. If you look at India's philosophical spiritual journey, evolution, right from 6th century BC up to the 19th century AD. In the middle, Shankaracharya is 8th century AD. So 2,400 years of spiritual journey of India or Hindu tradition. Buddha in 6th century BC, Shankara 8th century AD, Vivekananda in 19th century AD. What Shankara did was, for the ancient Vedic tradition, he built up this unique concept, the idea that the world is one. That is the spirit of Advaita. Humanity is one. Existence is one. We cannot do any harm to ourselves without hurting ourselves. Even extending beyond Upanishads in the Bhagavata Purana, there is a discussion called the Nimi Navayogi Sambodh. There, the definition, who is the Bhagavata Uttama, the highest devotee of God? He says, Sarva Bhudeshu Yapasyid Bhagavad Bhavamatmanaha Bhudani Bhagavati Atmani Esha Bhagavata Uttama. The highest devotee of God is one who can see everyone in God and can see God in everyone. This is a message of India's spiritual heritage. When we talk about America's spiritual journey, the most momentous event that happened in one of the most important events that happened in this country and the cultural spiritual area was the coming of an unknown monk from India in 1893. Without a letter of recommendation, without being recommended by an organization or institution, came to this country, came to Chicago. He had to sleep in an abandoned wagon, of a train wagon, 2-3 days before the actual Chicago address. Then one day he was sitting right across the street, very cold, remember, it was September, and Miss Hale, an American lady, saw a stranger sitting across the road, invited him. Next day, she took him to the registration office, Columbus Hall, and there he made the statement, this is time when the ancient Indian culture and tradition was introduced to the global world, to the outside world, and the global stage of Chicago Parliament of Religion. That's what we are talking about today. So without Sankara, there will be no Vedanta or Vivekananda to bring to America. Without Vivekananda, we won't be speaking about Vedanta and Hinduism today right now, because all the great work that was done later on, since the days of the three transcendentalists, it was carried on by people who drew inspiration from Vivekananda. Dr. Radhakrishnan, Mahatma Gandhi, all these are academics or national leaders, and also by great monks like Swami Chinmaya and Paramahansa Yogananda, and of course the great Swamis of Ramakrishna Mission already started work like in the early years of 20th century. So thank you very much. I consider it a great privilege and a blessing to be here and to share with you some of my ideas. It's a very short, limited time. I'm sure I've not done full justice to the subject at hand, but I hope that maybe sometime later we'll meet again. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Swamiji, for those wonderful words of wisdom. Now, we will just move on to the keynote talk by Swami Chidananda Puri. Pujya Swami Chidananda Puri is a prominent spiritual leader and a distinguished scholar of Advaita Vedanta, widely respected for his teachings on Sanatana Dharma. In 1992, he established the Advaithashramam in Kollam, Kerala, which serves as a primary center for spiritual inquiry and study. As the founder and managing trustee of the Sri Sankara Charitable Trust, he oversees 12 branches across India. In 2025, he expanded his mission to the United States by establishing a non-profit organization, Sankara Advaithashramam for Global Enlightenment or SAGE, in California. As the permanent director of SAGE, he guides the organization in sharing the wisdom of Vedanta with a global audience. Its mission focuses on fostering spiritual clarity and unity through educational programs, including retreats, workshops, and the publication of Vedic literature. Beyond spiritual teaching, SAGE is committed to humanitarian service, providing medical aid, food relief, and counseling to underprivileged communities. Now, I would like to humbly request Pujya Swami Chidananda Puri to give a talk on this occasion.
Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Today we are here as a part of America PRAYS program. As everybody knows, in connection with the 250th anniversary of America's independence, we are having a program tomorrow. In that, I think we can have a long lecture and discussions. Today, now itself, time is nearing 7:30 and we have to conclude the program by 8 o'clock. So this is not an occasion for a long talk. And actually this program, it is organized as a common platform where different organizations working for our Dharma come together and with mutual respect and understanding sit together, share ideas, It is for that. So I am not going to give a long lecture today. However, as invited, I have to speak at least for 10 minutes. After that, representatives of different organizations, of course, they can present their ideas, what they are doing, how we can come together, all these ideas. See, Bharata I am not calling it India. As per the Constitution of India also, there is the name Bharata. The meaning of Bharata is that which is giving the bliss of wisdom, the bliss of knowledge, or which is having the bliss of knowledge. You know, the Shabda Bharata is derived from the dhatu bha. Bha means bhanya deeptau, to know. So bha represents knowledge, wisdom. And that which is having rati, bliss, rejoice, in bha, knowledge, that is Bharata. So, always Bharata stood for knowledge and wisdom, and it was the teacher of the whole world. It was the teacher of the whole world. In the Rigveda itself, in the Samhita portion, we can see a mantra, Krunvanto Vishwamajya. It's an idea, or it is a responsibility given to everybody, every one of us, to make the whole world great. Krunvanto Vishwamajya. We can make the whole world great. How is it possible? It is possible only through spreading the knowledge, the wisdom. And it is not a isolated exhortation of Veda. We can see the same idea resounded in the first part of Manusmriti. Of course, Manusmriti is not a Shruti. It was a text of law. It was for that time, not for all the time, because it is a Smriti. Even then, in the first part of Manusmriti, after giving a detailed narration of different continents in this earth, Manu describes this Jambudvipa. Jambudvipa is Asia. And after that, he comes to Bharat. And after that, Manu says, Edat desha prasutasya sakashadagra janmanaha swam swam charitram shiksheren prithivyam sarva manavaha. See, prithivyam sarva manavaha. Edat desha prasutasya agra janmanaha sakashad swam swam charitram shiksheren. That all human beings from this world, not from the Jambudvipa, Asia continent, no. Not from the Bharatavarsha, no. But from the whole world. Let all people come and learn their history from a scholar from this area. That means Manu considered Bharata as the teacher of the whole world. So it is a natural development of the Vedic idea that we can make the whole world great. This is very important to us when we are sitting in this function, in this age of strife and war. Everywhere we are seeing battles, even in the individual, or in the family, or in a village, or in a nation, or the world at large. We are seeing strife and wars, battles and battles, everywhere collisions and frictions. So at this time, it is our duty to take the message of Bharat to the whole world. It is the message of Hindutva. It is the message of Bharata. We have to take that to the whole world. You cannot take the message, or you cannot take India to America. Neither can you take America to India, no. But you can take Bharat to the whole world. Because the message of Bharat, what it is? Of course, if we are studying our ancient wisdom, we will see much developed Kama Shastra, sexology. For example, Kama Sutra of Vatsyayana. Much developed Arthashastra, economics, commerce and political science, along with statistics. In a much developed and most rational way, explained in Chanakya's Arthashastra. And innumerable texts explaining the Shastra of Dharma, and much more about moksha. That means all the Purusharthas, Kama, Artha, then Dharma and moksha, all these are very well explained by our sages, our rishis, in a most rational way, which will appeal even to the mind of most logical thinking persons. And when we go to that text, we will see there is no division of physical and metaphysical. There is no division of modern and ancient. There is no division of science and spirituality. Because we are imbibing the whole arena of knowledge. We are accepting all branches of knowledge. This view we have to understand and pass to the next generation. For example, see, a sage who wrote long text or treatise on Ishvara, discussed the different aspects of Ishvara. For example, Badarayana. We call Badarayana a Maharshi. Or Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa a Maharshi. At the same time, we call Charvaka, who denied the very existence of Ishvara, Maharshi. See that? We never branded him atheist and threw him away. No, we respected him with the title Maharshi. Just as we called Badarayana a Maharshi. In the same way, the author of Kama Sutra, sexology, it was not Vatsyayana. It was Vatsyayana Maharshi. We never branded him as a sexologist and threw him away from the field of spiritual discussions. No. So we have to have this idea of the holistic vision of our Vedic vision. That is that holistic vision of Veda. From where that came? It came from the Vedic idea of unity in diversity. See, it came from the Vedic idea of unity in diversity. Whichever be the field, you take the social aspects, you take the scientific aspects, you take the economic aspects, whichever you take, we see outside diversities, differences. But there is the unity which is underlying everything. And to find out the very root of this vision, we have to go to the Vedas, and then we will realize it proclaims the essential unity of existence. What I am calling me is the same existence you call me. There is no difference. So all these manifestations, of course there are diverse aspects of manifestations. Diversity is there. We are accepting diversity as it is. We are not saying all are one. Never we say, I am seeing a scholar and a cow and a dog and a fellow who is eating dog as one. No. There is no such a vision. But we are saying that which is in a scholar and that which is in a cow and that which is in a dog and that which is in a man who is eating dog, that is the same. So we are accepting diversities as they are. And we are respecting these diversities as the manifestation of that supreme existence absolute. And at the same time, we realize that there is the essential unity in these diversities. So this vision of Bharat, we have to realize and spread in this world. Because see, wherever we go, we are seeing battles and strifes. In one occasion, we are speaking about global village. The technological advancement has made us the whole world one. We are one. All these things. But at the same time, we are boasting. I did or I led this much battles and I am killing now 1 million people. Tomorrow I will kill 2 million people, like that. So, what is the necessity of the world to sustain? That message, it is the message of Bharat. It is the message of Hindu Dharma. It is the message of unity in diversity. And we can in one term summarize that whole message, and that word is Dharma. Dharma. You cannot translate that shabda into any other language. You may be experts in different languages, let it be English or German or French or whatever it is. You cannot translate the shabda into any other language. So please don't try to translate. Use Dharma as Dharma. What is Dharma? The shabda Dharma comes from the root dhatu dharane. And there is another dhatu, that is dhr dharana poshanayoho. From these two dhadus comes this shabda dharma. So what's the meaning? That which is holding everything together. That which is holding everything together. Dharyate anena sarvam iti dharma. Right from a subatomic particle to the whole universe. If you can go still more from the subatomic particle, you can go. We have the technology today. But you cannot go far higher than the Brahmanda or the Prapancha. So from the minutest subatomic particle to the grossest universe, everything is held together by a rule, by a system, by a thread, and that is called Dharma. We are not speaking about any religion. Don't go to different countries and teach religion. If you are teaching religion, it's okay, it's up to you. If you are teaching political differences and politics, it is up to you. If you are teaching science and other social systems, it is up to you. But all this must be rooted in Dharma if the world is to sustain. If science or technology is not rooted in Dharma, then it will be disastrous to the world. If politics or national entities, identities are not rooted in Dharma, it will be disastrous to the very existence of the world. If religion or any other thing is not rooted in Dharma, it will be disastrous. So, have the idea of Dharma, realize that, understand that as the system which is binding everything together, and take that message to the whole world. And in this time, when we are sitting here as a part of America PRAYS program, today we are in an age of artificial intelligence and fast developing technologies, and the social scenario is changing in such a high speed. But for every movement, there must be a base. If our movement goes baseless, it will be the biggest disaster we will have to suffer. So that base is the base of Dharma. So have this idea within and take that to the world. That is our duty, and that duty we will fulfill together. Many organizations are there. I know there are representatives of many organizations, but working for one cause in different ways. By different ways, we have to touch the society in different ways. Some are organizations working for teaching Sanatana Dharma, Veda Shastra. Some are working as advocacy organizations. Some are working for bringing everybody together. Some are working for spreading the ritualistic part of our Dharma. So many. Let us keep our own individualities. Let us keep our own individualities. But at least once or twice in a year, come together, sit together, and feel that oneness. We are working for one cause. You are not bigger than me. I am not bigger than you. We are one. With that feeling of oneness, we can work together. That is the essential requirement of the present day world. So, I'm not going to give a long lecture. Of course, tomorrow we will have a long lecture and discussion here in this hall itself. So today not a time for that. So have this message of Dharma, and that is most required in the present day world. Namaste. Namaste to all.
Thank you, Swamiji, for those wonderful words of wisdom. Now we will move on to the different organizations that have come here today. For the sake of time, I will refrain from giving a lengthy introduction about these organizations. So we'll start off with the alphabetical order. First, we have Aims for Seva. Anandiji,
Good evening, everyone. This is Aim for Seva. I'm representing Aim for Seva. It was started by Dayananda Saraswati Swamiji, a great Vedanti. Aim for Seva happens to be the Seva wing of Dayananda Saraswati Swamiji's Ashravidya Gurukulam. And he very clearly, very early on called out that conversion is violence, very, very clearly. And in continuation with that, he started Aim for Seva. Here all the tribal children, the underprivileged tribal children who are at the risk of being converted by the missionaries. We have started the schools for them back in India. Aim for Seva through Chatralayams gives free student homes. So it's a true home, a place of safety, care, nourishment, healthcare, and values that shape who they become in India. And more than 8,000 children across 17 states and 3,000 villages are being nurtured in this way. And this care extends beyond homes. Our schools open pathways to opportunity. Healthcare centers serve with compassion. Our programs support children with special needs with dignity. And we also empower women with skills for self-reliance. So Aim for Seva is completely donor-driven movement. Almost every home, every school, and every healthcare center that exists in India from Aim for Seva is because somebody chose to give. And as our founder, Swami Dayananda Saraswati said, the purpose of a human being is to grow from a consumer to a contributor. So tonight, I thank you and I welcome you to know more about Aim for Seva. Please get in touch with me. I have some literature, some brochures, and you're free to talk to me about it. Thank you.
So we'll now move on to Chinmaya Mission. We have Mr. Sundi Sundaresh, Mr. Kamlesh Rupre, and Mr. Ramkumar Subramanianji. And I request Ramkumar to please come and share the thoughts of the presentation.
Thank you. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Pujya Swamiji Chidananda, Sage, HAF, leaders, revered guests, and friends. Namaste and Hari Om. Thank you for allowing us to come and represent Chinmaya Mission as part of this auspicious and I would say truly imminent America PRAYS 2026 event. It's a joy and honor to be here today with the Hindu family, I would say, and other organizations. As you all know, Chinmaya Mission was founded in 1951 by Pujya Swamiji Chidananda, who we in the mission fondly refer to as Pujya Gurudev. Gurudev was a visionary teacher who dedicated his life to sharing the timeless wisdom of Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads with clarity, logic, love, striving to create a world of peace, happiness, and harmony. The Bhagavad Gita teaches global harmony with a sense of shared humanity that is rooted in Dharma, as Swamiji put it, self-knowledge, and compassion. This vision of global harmony rests on three pillars: inner transformation, which brings peace within; ethical, selfless action, which brings peace between individuals; and recognition of unity and diversity, just as Swamiji mentioned, which brings peace across humanity. But what does this mean in terms of actionable practices for the modern world? It means we need to have first interfaith and interdisciplinary dialogue, just like we're doing right now. Ecological balance can be achieved through ahimsa, non-violence, environmental stewardship, and urging humanity to live sustainably as part of the divine matrix of life. And finally, the third part, value-oriented education, which means integrating the principles of self-control, honesty, and compassion into education in order to nurture a more inclusive and integrative global mindset. At Chinmaya Mission, we organize and partake in many such events to promote global harmony. One such event is the upcoming 75th Amrit Mahotsav celebration, which is a Gita Mela of the sorts, on September 6, 2026 at the PayPal Stadium. On behalf of Chinmaya Mission, I would like to extend our warm invitation to all of you to come and partake in this wonderful occasion. I also want to take this opportunity to acknowledge my co-member of CMSJ board, Sundari Sundaresh over here, and other Chinmaya Mission members are visiting. So, thank you, Hari Om, and Namaste.
We now have the Coalition of Hindus of North America, and we have the Bay Area Chapter Director, Manan Ravaji.
Namaste everyone. Pranam to Swamiji here. I just have a few thoughts I want to share. So I'll talk just very briefly about CoHNA. I think a lot of people here, I know that they know about CoHNA, so I'll not go into the details. So these are just some thoughts I gathered on my commute to work, which, thanks to the Bay Area traffic, I got extra time this morning. So growing up in Bharat, we used to recite this shloka quite few places. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma pashyitur. And I think we all know the meaning, so I'm not going to that. So I think this definitely inspired me growing up in Bharat, and then even continues to inspire me living as an Indian American in this country. But I would say I think it has this core noble thought, this universal prayer for well-being, for all. It includes all beings, not just humans. I think it has also inspired our Hindu way of life, our culture, our tradition, all aspects of our spirituality. And it's kind of wonderful that this country was also founded on some of these kind of principles like life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, right? So survival and sukhina right there. I think in terms of Hindu perspective or Hindu experience in the United States, I think this alignment of core values or core principles, I think it's very important. I mean, it not only we live here, but we thrive because of this alignment of core value system. We can practice our Dharma. And of course, there have been a lot of ups and downs over the years. 250 years is a long time, but I think we are definitely at a much better shape than when Swami Vivekananda came here. Probably the country was not running so close to its core principles back then. Although we see more turmoil right now, I think we still have more freedom. And just the fact that we have this gathering here with so many organizations. So there's definitely this alignment. I think working for a Hindu advocacy organization, this alignment of core principles gives you immense clarity of mind. We don't have the dwandas the mental conflicts, which I think probably people from other regions or with other following or the thought process have. So we are exactly aligned, and I think a Hindu thought process will always be aligned with any civil society or the norms set there, right? And that's very fundamental to our system. So yeah, I mean, it definitely has been inspiring us. We finished our 5-year anniversary last year, doing grassroots advocacy. The systems set up in the United States, the deep-rooted democratic system, the spirit of civic engagement, where everybody is welcome, right? I mean, this inspires us to do grassroots Hindu advocacy. I mean, I know different organizations take different route, but this is, I think, this is what CoHNA's take is in overall scene of Hindu advocacy. So yeah, we definitely aspire to kind of continue doing our humble service to the community, city, the nation, and ultimately, serve homes. I think that's goal for every Hindu organization here ultimately. I would also conclude with invitation. I heard some other invites also, so I will also like to extend my invitation. We are doing a Suraksha event. We call it Suraksha. We all know what Suraksha means. This is on May 9th in the Vaishnav Haveli near Elviso, San Jose. And we are basically collaborating with Santa Clara DA's office and San Jose Police Department. They will be talking about how to identify hate crimes, how to report it. We have been seeing a lot of temple vandalisms. We have seen all kind of crazy stuff that has happened around the area, which a lot of Hindus don't know. And even if they know, they don't know what to do about it, right? I mean, a lot of crimes, Hinduphobia crimes, state crimes go unreported, and nobody can do anything about it if you don't report them. So everybody is welcome. We are also going to talk about the Hinduphobia side of things from CoHNA. So we are going to educate, in return, we're going to educate SAPD and Santa Clara DA's office about what Hinduphobia is, what is our community facing. So everybody is welcome. This will be available on CoHNA's website, May 9th. Suraksha is the name. So thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here, and I think this is a Friday evening really well spent, I would say, in its true sense. Thank you so much.
So the next organization is Festival of Globe and Americans for Hindus. Unfortunately, Dr. Japarji could not make it today. So we will move on to the next organization, which is Hindu American Foundation. And we have Mr. Rajiv Singh Ji here.
Thank you. Namaste and hello again. I know I've spoken at length. I'll be sensitive to our time. Briefly, only because I've had a few conversations and it always is a experience to see eyes pop out or faces change when I introduce HF to people, because I see reactions to information that I think people know, but they don't, so I'll share just that part. HF is the oldest and the largest Hindu American advocacy organization in the United States. We recently moved our headquarters from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia, 25 full-time staff. It is a lot of advocacy work representing our interests to the elected members, both at state as well as federal level, but more than that, at local level as well. The reason I share this with you is because I want to build upon, in my free time, and I'll give you the video to recapture Swamiji's words, that a lot of hesitation I see in our community is a hesitation to engage in what they perceive as politics. And I used to say, although after today I have to find any more, I used to say that whatever is not spiritual is political. But I think the next challenge I'm taking personally home is to find ways to encourage our community to do their Dharma, politics involved. That is the agenda we have been on. We just need to find a newer, better phrasing for that. Anyway, thank you again for your attendance this Friday evening. If you have any questions about HAF, let me know. I'm around. Thank you.
So, we have HinduPACT.
I think every time I'm going to talk to you, I'm putting on different buckets. So, Sarvabhyo Namah. Swamiji, Pranam, once again, just from the HinduPACT side now. Very much an honor to be here, very much an honor to come together with every single Hindu organization here to work on this event. Of course, as Rajiv mentioned, Hindus have been an integral part of this country from its founding since John Adams, to the Transcendentalists, to Swami Vivekananda, as we heard, and even today to this new iteration which is coming through Chinmaya mission, which is coming through HF, which is coming through CoHNA, and which also comes through HinduPACT. HinduPACT in particular, I think, focuses on championing a few values. One is, the US has always had a value of religious freedom. And so, in order to fight for that, HinduPACT has been very much at the forefront of doing a lot of interfaith work, of course with many other Hindu organizations here, but we've worked with not only other Dharmic organizations, but even Islamic organizations, to be able to really come together and preserve what makes our country great. What that also includes is working on religious freedom abroad as well, including even in Pakistan, where we run our Chingari project, and over there make sure that US lawmakers and US companies understand the horrible human rights atrocities that go on against girls in Pakistan, 3 of which are kidnapped and forcibly married per day. And alongside that, we also focus on the American value of civic engagement, building our democracy out with our Hindu Vote project, which is about educating Hindus on how this country's democracy runs, how to vote, how to get involved, how Hindus can work on influencing our political candidates. And so there's a lot of projects that we work on, of course, in collaboration with many of you. And if anyone is interested in getting involved, please let me know. More than happy to get everyone connected. I won't stand between you all and dinner, so we can get these wrapped up. But yes, thank you so much for having me, and we'll talk. Namaste.
Thank you. So now we have the HSS, Ashwini ji and Kumarji.
Pranam Swamiji. We are all here to pray for 250 years of America. I hope we will all be praying in unison. I won't take much time talking about HSS. HSS, Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh. We do only one thing. We work with people and we focus on character building, nothing else. We run weekly shakhas where we focus on giving samskar to people so that these people become the assets of the society. By thinking together, acting together. We believe in Sangachatvam Samvadatvam. And our goal is foster peace, promote Dharma. Vishwa Shanti Prakashena, Vishwa Dharma Prakashena, Vishwa Shanti Pravartake. So it's amazing to share this forum with all the organizations who are contributing in different ways to promote the Dharma in American society. And we are very glad that we have an opportunity to be a part of this larger goal of universal oneness that Param Pujya Swamiji spoke about. Dhanyawad.
Thank you. So next we have the Hindu University of America.
Namaste. Pranam Swamiji. Thank you for bringing us together, for including HUA in this gathering. Hindu University of America is a pioneering university in America which has structured programs at certificate graduate levels with students who study Vedanta, post-colonial studies, political science, history and methods, Dharma Shastras, Puranas, and Itihasas, yoga studies, and Ayurveda. So a whole lot. Our students would like to celebrate along with all of you the 250 years of this great country's independence. At HOA, we believe a plural society is strengthened by engaging differences with maturity. Today, we find that we are deeply polarized. Conversations are reduced to sides, the left or the right. But reality is rarely so simple. The right is not always wrong, and the left is not always right. Truth does not belong to one side. It must be sought with care and responsibility. Our Dharmic traditions offer us a way forward. As the Rigveda says, let noble thoughts come to us from all directions. Let this be a call to listen more deeply, to remain open, and to recognize that wisdom can arise anywhere. Even here, Dharma and Adharma pull at us, swinging our values from one extreme to another like a pendulum. But the pendulum is not meant to stay at the extremes. Its natural resting place is the center. Dharma brings it back to the center, steady, grounded, and clear. It calls for clarity and responsible dialogue, compromise without losing integrity, and above all, reconciliation over division. In order to guide more people on this path, HOA, the University of America, needs the community to want to learn and be together. We invite you not to take sides, but to elevate this conversation, to engage deeply, disagree respectfully, and move forward together. And we also invite you, day after tomorrow, to our fundraising gala. It will be held in Livermore. And I'm sure most of you, I think all of you, because you all know me, have received this invitation. Please do come and learn more about the university and see what subject would you like to learn from us. Namaste.
Thank you. So the next organization, One World, One Family. Unfortunately, Mr. Sridhar Vajpayee could not make it today. And the following one too, Sambodh Bay Area, both Geeta Swami and Krishna Swami could not make it due to some medical reasons. And next we'll move on to Sage, and I request Sumaji to please come and speak about the organization.
Namaste. My humble pranams to Swamiji, and good evening to everyone. Most of you might be knowing me. My name is Sankara, and I'm honored to serve as the treasurer for Sankara Advaithashramam, Global Enlightenment, and in short we call it SAGE. We are a very pretty young organization which was established last year in 2025. It's a California registered nonprofit, and it was born with the vision and guidance from our Pujya Swamiji Chidananda Puri, who is the permanent director. And Swamiji's mission is very clear: to make the universal principles of Vedanta accessible in today's modern world, promoting unity, personal growth, and deeper understanding across all communities. At SAGE, we believe that the timeless wisdom provides the essential balance we all need, especially in our fast-paced life. We serve as a sanctuary for spiritual seekers, a space to study, reflect, and truly live the truths of Advaita as taught by Adi Shankaracharya. Through your involvement in SAGE, you help us construct and solidify our three core pillars, which Kamlesh already mentioned, which aligns pretty much according to Chinmaya mission's three pillars. Purpose, like helping seekers find meaning and direction. Access, ensuring the teachings of Vedanta are reachable and practical for everyday life. In harmony, guiding our society toward unity and meaningful cultural continuity. Especially in these challenging times, Swamiji believes that these teachings are the key to lasting peace. This is why we are so proud to support and initiate America PRAYS. It's a vital step in bringing our community together in strength and spirit. Thank you all of you being part of this, and have a journey with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumani. So the next is the Vishwa Hindu Parishad of America. Tejal Shahji could not make it here, but has sent us a message thanking Sage for the opportunity. We next move on to Yoga Bharati. We have Mr. Anil Zudpurji and Ashwini Zudpurji. So if you could please.
Pujya Swamiji, both Dharmic Swamiji and Chidananda Puri, with their blessings, community leaders and organization representatives, brothers and sisters. We are here to, today we are gathered here to celebrate 20th anniversary of formation of United States. More than that, America PRAYS. This is very important initiative, I would say, with the current state of the world we are in, which is highly polarized and fractured universe. And our prayers are always important to bring dignity and harmony. And yoga plays a bigger role in that because yoga is all about bringing peace, harmony within us, in the community, and in the universe. Right? So it's a very important initiative. Just talking about Yoga Bharati. Yoga Bharati non-profit organization with a vision of enhancing health, happiness, knowledge, peace in life through holistic yoga approach. Our mission is to serve the community by bringing holistic and authentic and evidence-based yoga practice through offering affordable yoga classes, workshops that to support healthy lifestyle, offering training courses backed by evidence-based yoga practice, techniques, and promoting yoga and its positive benefits through community engagement. We are focusing on yoga research, efficacy of yoga for various psychosomatic ailments, using modern techniques. That's the next initiative we are working on, bringing best of both the East and West. So at Yoga Bharati we follow principles of Ashtanga Yoga by Saint Patanjali and Bhagavad Gita and teachings of Swami Vivekananda. Yoga Bharati is celebrating 25th anniversary this year, and the focus has been, the theme and focus has been spreading the life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda. And we heard a lot of what Swami Vivekananda offerings to Swamiji earlier. We want to spread that message. In fact, we are started a Kaundarega Vivekananda initiative, engaging kids, youths, and adults. And we have lessons for each age group. We send 4 to 5 lessons every week with bite-sized teachings. And we are going to conduct a small competition at the later part of this year, which is leading to our celebration in the month of August and September. We'll be sending out all the organizations, community leaders to participate in this great initiative. And it's very important for us to spread the message of Swami Vivekananda. He has offered so much in the last 50 years, and we have to continue to that legacy of his teachings. And of course, a lot of other organizations with common goal, as Swamiji mentioned, unity in diversity. That's very important, bringing that world peace. And so, congratulations to and thanks to the Sage for organizing the event, of course, partners with your chair, and taking this initiative, make a place, and giving us opportunity to participate in this event.
So now I'd like to request all the representatives of the organizations to come to the stage to light the lamp of unity.
This program was organized as a part of 250th anniversary of American independence. All of you, majority, have migrated from Bharat, and of course, second generation, third generation are here. How did we could come here? Because Bharat came out of the clutches of British rule. We became independent. Only because we became independent, we could travel everywhere in search of work, in search of establishing business, and in many, many ways. There is a connection, much forgotten connection, between America and Indian independence. In schools in India, they are teaching India about independence by a freedom struggle based on non-violence. It is utter nonsense. That is, we are not only ignoring, but we are turning back to those great patriots who laid their last breath and head for the freedom of Bharat, even accepting death with a loud voice, Vande Mataram. Actually, how India got independence? It is the effect of Atlantic Charter. We have to teach that. It is not the effect of the freedom struggle based on non-violence. No. It is the result of Atlantic Charter. Because the Second World War was coming, and the whole world was going to two groups. In one side, Britain was leading. America was not entering into that war. Without the help of America, Britain understood they cannot win. So there were discussions, many discussions, to make America a party in that. Then America pressed Britain. We must enter into a treaty. And Britain was forced to adopt that. And that was the most famous Atlantic Charter of 1941. There were many articles in that, and the most important one was Britain must give freedom to all colonies. If you are ready to give freedom to all colonies after the World War, if you are giving that word, then only we will enter the World War. There was no other way for Britain, and the then American President Roosevelt and the then British Prime Minister Churchill signed the pact, and as a result of that, Britain was forced to give freedom to all colonies. The first they gave freedom to those countries which gave them more headache. That was a fact. This we are not teaching in schools.
Yeah.
So there is a connection between the freedom of America and the freedom of Bharat. So one who is free, he can make others free. Durjana sajjano bhuyat, sajjana shanti mamprayat, shanto mucheda bandhebhyaha, then last, muktaha cha anyan vimochayat. One who is free, he has to make others free. So we have to come together, sit together, think together, and make clear idea how we can make the society free. So I'm not going to talk for a long time. But this point, you have to keep in mind, you have to teach our children importance of Atlantic Charter and the freedom of India. Namaste.
So now I'll request Rich to come and channel that we see.
Namaste, for the last time I promised. In front of our American flag here, in front of our Pranam, I want to take one suttam from the Rigveda, the Rashtra Suttam. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om Brahman Brahmano Brahma Vachasi Jayatam Arate Rajanya Shura Ishavyoti Vyadi Maharato Jayatam Dogri Denur Voda Narvanashu Sapti Purandhiryosha Jishnurateshta Sabheyo Yuvasya Yajamanasya Viro Jayatam Nikame Parjanyo Varshatu Palavatyo na Oshadhaya Pachantam Yogakshemo na Kalpatama. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.
Thank you, Rinvich. Now we will finally move on to the final vote of thanks. And I'm inviting Sumaji again for the vote of thanks.
We are running out of time, and I'm not going to take too much of time. As we bring this powerful America Prays gathering to a close, my heart is overflowing with gratitude. I'm so happy to have all these organizations here. Looking out at this assembly, it's very clear that when we come together with a shared intention of peace and devotion, we create an energy that transcends boundaries. First and foremost, we offer our deepest pranams and gratitude to Pujya Tattwamayananda Swamiji and Pujya Chidananda Puri Swamiji. Swamiji, your presence here has been our guiding light. Thank you for sharing your profound wisdom, your compassion, and reminding us of the eternal strength found in our spiritual roots. We are forever blessed by your grace. And Swamiji, you have traveled so far, and it's not easy. Like the next day itself, you have programs and you're visiting so many places, and people are coming to visit you in different time zones. And Swamiji is here as part of a spring tour, and he will be traveling all over US and Canada, and again a lot of different time zones, red-eye flights. It's not easy as we think. So I'm deeply honored and blessed to have Swamiji as part of this program. A collective vision requires collective action. I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to all of the Dharmic organizations who partnered with us. A very special note of appreciation goes to the Hindu American Foundation. We thank you for your foresight in inciting this event and your tireless advocacy for our community. Your leadership provided the spark that brought us all together here today, ensuring that our collective voice and prayers are heard across the nation. In a world that often feels fragmented, our unity is a treatment to the values of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. Thank you for your resources, your leadership, and your unwavering dedication to preserving our shared heritage. To our volunteers, the Seva warriors, whether you are managing logistics, coordinating the food, or offering a smile, you are the backbone of this event. We really appreciate your self-service, and from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you to all of you. And finally, to our audience, all of you have traveled from near and far and to be part of this prayer. So thank you for your time, your energy, your devotion, and even like America Prays is only as powerful as the hearts that join in. And as we depart, let's carry the stillness and strength we found here today back into our daily lives. May we continue to pray, to serve, and grow together. Thank you once again. Namaste.
Thank you, Swamiji. We all know the amount of work that you've done for this. So thank you again. Moving on to the next item, I just want to have just a couple reminders here. One is we have a Q&A session with Pujya Chidananda Puri Swamiji tomorrow here at the same venue. The topic is Eternal Values for a Changing World. And I request all of you to please come and join us for that. And please take a moment to review Swamiji's spring tour details at the globalsage.org website. And finally, it's dinner time. So I would like to request all of you to proceed for the dinner. And this is also an opportunity for people of other organizations to meet and mingle. Thank you all for coming today. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.